Hello, this is Jujara speaking. Today we are going to be having a look at Substrate and what changes have occurred to the faction in 2.94. So first we're going to be starting with frigates. It is worth noting that the Martyr, Reaper, and Sky Cleansers have been made to be in line with their PhD counterparts, and the PhD counterparts have been made to be in line with their Substrate units equivalent. So Martyrs and Brutes now come as squads of 3 and cost 40 metal each. They have an HP of 134 per unit and 5 DPS per unit. Reapers cost energy. They are individually slightly weaker than Archers and Silver Fire energy, but come in squads of 2 now. Sky Cleansers come in squads of 2. Sky Cleansers are very important to build as they are your primary means of dealing with drones, which are an anti-frigate thing. Which are anti-frigate in nature because they don't have armor piercing. Next, we are going to be looking at the Tormentor. The Tormentor has been nerfed and buffed at the same time. Instead of costing energy to fire its weapon, it no longer does. However, in exchange, it now costs radioactives, and its range has been nerfed to 1300. I'm just going to let it cycle through. Next, well, just to make sure. Two more. I'll just get this going. This is, after all, a multiplayer match to begin with. Here it comes. Tormentors now cost 10 radioactives, and they now have 8 DPS and a 1300 meter range. They don't cost energy, but they're still fragile, so don't try to get them into close quarters combat because they won't be able to shoot back. Next, we're going to be looking at the Avenger. This is a unit that has been fixed to be in line with the update. It now has a lot more HP than it did before. Its Mayhem Cannon actually is useful, and probably a little bit strong, and then it has its Scourging Streams. Now, it is worth noting that this specific weapon, that the Scourging Streams, do not target buildings. They can still hit buildings, but it's only if the unit is placed right above it. That is the only way that this will actually hit buildings. So keep that in mind. Only the Mayhem Cannon can be used against turrets. Next, we're going to be looking at the Mauler. The Mauler has a lot more HP. Its secondary weapons, which is the Dissuader particle responsive cannons, do not require energy to fire anymore. However, its Hyena laser battery, which it may say has less DPS, this is a lie, it's actually more, because there's 4 weapons in this. Some of the weapons and ashes you may find are not properly labeled. So, just a feature to keep in mind. So it is 39 DPS per unit times 4. So keep that in mind. It is worth noting something about the Avenger at this point in time, and that is it will go up against any cruiser fairly competently. If it were to ever go up against a drone hive, it would kill the drone hive because of how good it is. It actually will outtrade Scarabs, and it will also outtrade Zeus's as well. Zeus's are much more in line with being the idea of anti-frigate and not anti-everything. Next, the Drone Hive. The Drone Hive has been buffed. Its HP has not been buffed, which is probably for the best. It is now an anti-everything unit that isn't tier 3 or above. It has 2 drone squads, a full squad for anti-aircraft purposes, which is flying around right here, and a half squad, which is a squad size of 8, for anti-frigate purposes. This, in conjunction with its defense laser, actually is fairly potent. It is worth noting that the drone hive does not require any of the tech structures to be built. So, and as such, it may come as a slight shocker. It is worth noting that this is your primary anti-air for dealing with proper air units. Next, we are going. So that will cover the basic cruisers with the exception of the Destructor. The Destructor has been nerfed. Its main plasma range launcher now no longer targets units. It can still hit units, if they're parked over buildings, for example, these units right here, if they were to pop, if it were to fire and land at the same time as these units being in the area, it would hit these units still. So just keep that in mind. Next, we are going to be looking at the Eradicator, the Masochist, and those two as well. It is worth noting that healing units in this patch have had a soft nerf in the fact that they basically don't do as well as they used to anymore. It isn't that they are bad, it's more a case of everything has so much more HP that the idea of healing them actually takes a lot longer. Then, next up on the list after these three cruisers will be air units. This is why I probably shouldn't do this in the middle of the skirmish. Okay. I'll get those units speed up. Okay, fighters are working. Okay. So now, it is worth knowing a few things about these air units. The Dominator has been buffed. So that is, the Dominator has been buffed to be in line with the uh, Fury, which is the PhD Air Superiority Fighter. It now has missiles that are armor piercing and do a good chunk of damage, and they're fairly fast, and they also have good range. The Perseus cannon is the main DPS of the unit, so be aware it does a lot of damage. Back to cruisers, we are going to be looking at the Eradicator. The Eradicator's peeping Tom has not been changed. It is still a good gun. The plasma cannons, however, have been buffed to be much more active in their role. They now have a range of 800 and a fairly good DPS. Next is Damascus. It has a lot more shields, some more hit points. It doesn't trade as well as the Avenger does in terms of HP, in terms of metal spent. However, it is still a very good unit to have access to. I think that's going as well. The Harvester has been changed in two ways. It is a lot more fragile. However, its metal cost has gone down slightly, if I recall correctly, but its radioactives and logistics have gone up massively. In 2.92, it currently costs 3 logistics per harvester, now it's up to 12. This is to balance the idea that you cannot click and then build multiple buildings at once. You can't do it. Otherwise, the game will just do that. You have to click each time. And the problem with PHC is that you have to do this with the refineries and quantum archives, whereas with Substrate, you only have to worry about this with quantum archives. Next is the Punisher. This unit has had a meaningful change. It is now really in the line of being an empty tier 1 unit. It may not seem like it's the best for that role, but actually it's quite good. As it actually has 6 attacks. Not which is saying that you may not see immediately at first because it's not properly listed. And it has also gained armor. One of the main changes in 2.94 is that units in 2.92 were considered a lot more fragile. So doing something like this in 2.92 would actually be suicidal. Even here, it's still suicidal. But in 2.92, the unit would have died right here. 2.92 here. It would not have gotten to here. So, just food for thought. Next is the Rampager. Right there. I'll get you up there as well. So Rampagers have had 2 changes. One is that their Turds on their main DPS, and I'll bring it up here for demonstration. Um, the problem that the pager had in 2.92 is that it was an anti-everything. And to get a good idea of how good it is, it's basically better at everything the Harbinger was meant to do, and it does everything either better or cheaper. However, it's worth noting that its Rainmaker turrets are now its main DPS. It is better anti-frigate than the Air Marauder, as it tends to kill them a lot faster. Its DPS is a lot more active in terms of parry fire, but it is worth noting that its Rainmaker turrets are not always the most active. That's enough deletion. We will be moving on to possibly one of the more broken units. Broken strong. It is also worth noting that Rampagers, this is without quantum upgrade, have had a massive HP buff, and they have been given armor. I have mentioned that so I mentioned the word broken. I don't think it's overpowered. I think it's actually too strong to be considered overpowered. So instead, it has so the Smith cannon now has a range of 1100 meters compared to the 1000 or 800 it had before. Its DPS has not gone up, but its HP has. Your main counter to handling this unit is now solely ASF. Do not try to build anti-air to outdamage it. It will kill the anti-air before the anti-air will get to it. It is still worth noting that the Harbinger still has its core firing arcs, and also be aware that this unit will wander. It is worth noting that these creeps will shoot back at air units. Actually, let's get some of these going to show what it's like. Let's stop that for now. And let's get these cleaned up over. The nice thing about clips is that they're very good at demonstrating how units work. So, you will see the, by the way, you will see this unit probably pop up. And after this, we are going to be looking at dreadnoughts. In the meantime, we will be paying back to cruisers. Caregivers. The projects a 360-degree field. This is wrong. This has been wrong in 2.92 as well. It heals a single unit at a time, and the stats right there should tell you everything you need to know. Next is the mobile nullifier. Mobile nullifiers have lost their armor. However, they have been the substrate equivalent has been given a more separated purpose for two of its cannons. So now the cannons at the back are now solely anti-air, and the cannons at the front are now solely anti-ground. That's probably not the best test. This will be a better test, however. So, I mentioned that the Punisher is actually a good unit for anti-frigate. This is a much higher rate of fire, and you're also seeing how much faster it's also attacking. The only downside is that they lost 100 meters of range. So, for dreadnoughts, the big ones, we will be starting off with the Retributor, going to the one that needs to be reworked, and finally, the big tanky one that can do some nasty things to juggernauts if you let it level up. So the Retributor has been made to be pitted against the Hyperion. This was so that the problem with the Overmind and the Hyperion currently in the game is that they serve the same purpose, however they they do it completely differently to each other. For example, the Hyperion has healing, the Retributor does not. It has regen on itself, and that's about it. So anyone notice that these are not clean numbers. This is intentional. Substrate has had its shields rebalanced, and it's very prevalent on the Dreadnoughts. For example, you will see that this is 16,000 HP. So we're going to be starting off with the Retributor. Its upgrades have not changed. The upgrade paths have not changed, so it will take the same amount of time to get to things like Havoc, targeting computer, speed boost for the army, and such and such. Ooh, yeah, that was small. That one's for later. The Overmind has not changed since 2.92, and because of everything being bloated right now, it is filling a slightly different role. Finally, we have the Savager. I'm just going to let you know that if you let this thing get to level 5 and it has the Executor upgrade, do not bring a Juggernaut near this thing, it will die in 5 shots. It does not matter which Juggernaut you bring, it will die. Guaranteed. Unfortunately, the AI is not going to give me enough armies to get up to that point, so take my word for it, it goes up to 2300 DPS without upgrades. And yes, that is enough to 5-shot Leonidas if you are wondering. However, it barely survives. So, we will be talking about the broken units that were available in 2.92. Scarabs. Ooh, opportunity. Yes, I know what I'm doing here. So, let me help. Where are the scarabs? Oh, there they are. Scarabs. They now come in squads of 5. They have a bit of armor. Their gun has been nerfed to 350 meters range. This is intentional. Let's speed up the process a little bit, because I do want to show this off, because it is interesting. So, and I'm getting a little bit distracted, but I do want to show that off. Scarabs. They will trade 1-for-1 with, and I do mean with, Zeus's and Avengers. Now it's just a case of what I get. So, it is also worth noting that they are more expensive than the standard anti-frigate cruisers, such as the Zeus or the Avenger. Yes, it is still possible to pump them out. Also, they cost a lot of logistics. So if you want a lot of them, you're going to have to pay for them in logistics. Apparently, that's still a thing. Yarlen, I mentioned that earlier. Okay. Oh god, that's a bad thing. So this is a good thing to demonstrate. If, for under any point in time, EMP gets called on your units, unless if you were already winning this fight in a very comfortable manner, you are going to lose it. EMP is absolutely going to wreck you. So always move in with mobile nullifiers if you can, as long as you have them. Do not, under any circumstances, do that. We are also going to look at these units over here, especially that one. Skirmishers haven't been changed massively. The Falling Star has not been changed. And this is the other broken unit. It has been nerfed, and it is in the best possible position that it could ever be in. The amount of turrets that were over here actually were capable of. This is lined up by harbingers floating around and going everywhere where you don't want them to go. So let's go find a turret line. So previously, this would be an easy fight. The spider would easily just win. The main changes to that is lost its armor, its DPS has gone down, and it's lost 500 units of shield. I am looking for a sentinel turret if you are wondering. Also, I'm on lower end graphical settings for the simple fact that I need to be on it for a smoother picture. So here, you'll see that they definitely do die now, which is for the best. So, I am just slowly getting this thing leveled up. Unless if I got to the wrong upgrade path. Oh, that's Cronus. Hello, food. Savager. Oh, that's the wrong upgrade path. Or is it? I might have gone. I got the wrong upgrades, which means I now need to figure out which ones it is. It's one of the two. Let's just do that. It's one of the two. That's what I can tell you for sure right now. But I'll just let you take my word for it. It is 2300 DPS. And it will 5-shot Leonidas. So, next, unless I disable them, the Juggernauts have been rebalanced. The Queen is, it has a lot more drones compared to the last time. Its frigate swarms are still the same. It is, however, worth noting that its frigates are no longer armor piercing. The Eye of Darkness is still in this, is still as strong as ever. I'll try and speed this up. Because this is an option. You are a useless one. It is also worth noting that the Savager and Prometheus have been buffed in terms of their HP to a massive amount. I'm just going to try and win this on Savagers to get the right upgrades. Actually, I think at this point it might not happen. So, thank you for watching anyways. If you got into this point of view, please leave a like. So that way other people can see what's going on. I'll actually continue until I get to that point. Oh, that's the wrong one. Penetrable armor. I was serves that to give a little bit of HP. One of these is bound to get it. Come on, one more Dreadnought. Any little bit of XP actually helps. Come on, where's that army? I really do need it. Oh. I am... Okay, where is it? It has been changed. Okay. I probably should check patchness, but... Just beware. Things are subject to change and may not display properly.